Welcome to our curriculum night. My name is Paul Paetzel. I'm very, very proud to be the principal of Edina High School, and I want to, on behalf of all of our staff, welcome you to your high school. This evening is a very important, but hopefully a very enjoyable evening where we're going to learn about some of the experiences that you students and parents of your child will experience next year. So we always begin by grounding in what our vision and mission are for our district. And so we just begin by just looking at our vision for each and every student to discover their possibilities and to thrive. Also, we have a mission in the Edina Public Schools. It's a dynamic learning community delivering educational excellence and preparing all students to realize their full potential. I skipped over a slide that covers what we're going to experience tonight. So we'll take a look at that after this welcome comments. We're going to turn it over to Jen Carter, our assistant principal, and she'll give an overview of the total evening. Really the main event is hearing from our department chairs or area leads about the courses that are offered. That is like the foundation of the experience that you're having at the high school level. So really that's where we want to focus in. So with that, I'll keep things going here, and I'm going to turn things over to Jen Carter, and she will get us going. Thanks.
Thank you so much for joining us. Again, if you should happen to need any language interpretation services, we do have the headphones and can make sure that this is accessible in Spanish and Somali. Thank you so much for joining us. We're here because we're going to have the class of 2030 at Edina High School, which I'm sure as many of you sit here and think, how is it? Maybe this is your first high schooler, or you've had many high schoolers. Thank you so much, because there has been some significant changes to our curriculum. So, I hit the button too many times. I'm going to ask my colleague, Natalie Goldberg, to join me on stage, where we're going to go over some information just about the night for what to expect. Registration does kick off on Monday, February 2nd, and our counseling team is going to be at the middle schools over the next few weeks with information about the high school. A couple other things that you need to know is, obviously, with that transition to the high school, this is where your child is starting their transcript, their 9 through 12 transcript that is going to go on to them as they apply for their post-secondary experience. So while we obviously talk about things, we want children to find their right fit as they enter our doors, to make sure they're registered for the right classes. We have lots of different pathways. Our area leaders are going to talk to you about all the many opportunities in addition to our course catalog. But there is a faster pace and there is a larger workload. I've had 2 ninth graders that have been through the building, and they're all prepared in different ways. But we just want all of our students, obviously, to discover their possibilities and thrive. Accurate registration and thoughtful registration is really, really important. So sometimes students maybe decide that they want to sign up for something, and then they kind of waver and go back and forth. And based on staffing that we get, if we have 93 students that sign up for a class with the school board ratio, we'd likely run 3 sections of that class. But if the class is not available or it gets full, then things get to be a little bit more challenging. So that thoughtful process, we are going to have all students. That full load is going to be 7 classes, so very different than the middle schools. But we do recommend that students take a student prep. You don't have to take a student prep. A student prep is a fancy word for study hall. But it is time during the day where kids can get work done. So maybe they can get something done before practice. And so they're paired with a teacher in grades 9 and 10, so they can use that time during the day. We also have office hours, and our teachers are amazing. They are available during our flex time on Thursdays, before school, after school. But we really reach out, if your child is in need of a little bit more, their teachers are always going to be there to be able to help them. So our counseling department, again, Natalie is one of those members to it. We have 9th grade teams. So it was 2020, right before the pandemic, we had the high school open since 2017, and we wanted to find a way to make sure that all students were being extremely successful on that path to graduation and taking advantage of each opportunities. So the people on this slide, Natalie, Angela Kiefer, and Kristen Wetzel, I call them the 9th grade moms. They oversee, the two counselors oversee the two teams. There's 6 teams, and Kristen Wetzel, who's a social worker, serves as our interventionist for 9th grade. We also have our 10 through 12 counselors. I think we have one that's over here at the door. He's going to be here for the 10 through 12 presentation. But after 9th grade, your student would then go to a counselor that is assigned by their alpha, and that is the person that will be with them as they prepare for college and start getting ready to think about that next step after Edina High School. So registration itself, Natalie is my partner with registration. She is our liaison to the middle schools. She's going to talk to you more about the process and what to expect, and then our area leaders will be next.
Jen? Does it work? Down. Okay, got it. Hi, thank you so much for being here. It's really exciting to be in person. We've been doing this virtual for the last few years, so it's just fun to have so many faces here. We are going to be posting the slides from tonight. They're actually in the student Schoology page, which we're going to talk about in a minute. They're already there. And then we'll be posting the link, the live link later as well. So again, tonight's about curriculum. I know you probably all have a lot of questions just about high school in general. We will be offering a 9th grade parent night the first couple of weeks of the school year next year to kind of talk to you about all the ins and outs of high school. Tonight our focus is going to be more on curriculum and classes and helping get your students set up for their course selections for next year. Well, let's see if I do it the right way. Okay, so first the timeline. We are getting ready to kick off registration with our 8th grade students. So this week, some students may already have gotten information in their core classes, English, Math, Science, and Social Studies, with a little bit of a look into what's to come or what to expect with their 9th grade classes and the core subjects. But next week, we're really kicking things off with some videos. So the registration work takes place in advisory in our middle school buildings. I know Southview, I believe, is doing a grade level advisory on Monday. Most of the information is going to be pushed out Monday at Southview. Valley View, I believe, is going to be kind of doing little bits of it each day of next week. So next week, the week of February 2nd, again, each day in advisory, the students are going to see a video. They're going to get an overview, so they'll see the timeline. They'll have access to resources, which I'll talk about in a minute. We have a Schoology folder with everything students need to know, and our webpage as well. Then they're going to get a video with graduation requirements. So it's really high level, just these are the classes that students need to take in order to be able to graduate. The next video will then be breaking things down. So what does 9th grade English look like? What are the differences between the choices and so on? And you're going to hear some of that from our area leads tonight. So some of this information, students, that's awesome. Love to see so many of you here. You'll probably hear this same information many times over the next couple of weeks. Something that's really fun for us then, the week of February 9th, all 10 high school counselors will be at Southview and Valley View helping students enter their classes into the computer. So your students are all going to get a packet on Monday in advisory, each of the middle schools that they'll be bringing home that has their graduation credits, a worksheet where they can start to fill their classes out. So you could be looking for that on Monday, talk to your kids about it. Again, they're going to work on that next week, and then counselors will be over the following week helping enter classes. And then we're going to go back a second time to help in flex for students who maybe were absent, or they might just still have more questions and they feel like they need a little bit more help. So we'll be at the middle schools a couple of times. Registration is due Friday, February 13th. All right, your students, we turned it on this morning. They don't know this yet because, again, their information's coming on Monday. Your students all have access to a folder in Schoology, either Valley View or Southview, the grade 8 folder called 2627 High School Course Registration. If you click on it, literally anything you need to know about registration is in there. Again, this PowerPoint is in there. We've got information about grad requirements, summer, online classes, just about anything you can think of is in there. So make sure if you want to take a peek at that, sit down with your student. It's in the student account, so have them open their device. go to Schoology and you can take a look at that. And they also have a link to the course catalog in their Schoology folder. So we've got a registration website, we've got a course catalog. Everything the area leads are going to be talking to you about tonight is in the course catalog. We have a description for every single class we offer. It lists what grade levels can take the course. It will say if there's a prerequisite needed in order to take the class. It will talk about how much homework, if it's daily, minimal. There's a little bit of a description that I think is really helpful. Both Schoology and the course catalog have graduation checklists, so you can stay on top of those kinds of things. School schedule, just about anything you need can be found in both of those resources. So I gotta keep moving so we can get to our area leads, but just really high level overview for graduation requirements. You don't have to memorize this. Again, your students are gonna get a copy of this on Monday. It's in the course catalog, it's in the Schoology folder. Feel free to take a pic if you want. It might be hard to grab a picture of it though. So we are on semesters here at the high school. So students earn credits on a semester basis. So each semester class is worth 1 credit. So in English, sorry I keep picking on English, but English, for example, that meets year long, students will earn a grade for first semester and a grade for second semester. So at the end of the year for English, they'll end up with 2 credits. So when we say 8 credits for English, we mean 4 years. So students will plan to take 4 years of English. They will take 4 years of social studies. Again, the area leads will kind of talk through some of the nuances with this. 3 years of math and science are what's required for graduation. We do see many of our students go above and beyond that. We'll talk about that tonight as well. In our wellness department, we do have 3 requirements. We have personal wellness, which is a 1 semester personal wellness, 1 semester of a wellness class, and 1 semester of a health. And Ms. P is here to talk to us more about that. 2 credits of fine arts, which could be visual arts or performing arts. It could be a semester class, could be a year-long class, but 2 semesters of fine arts. And then new in the last couple of years, so if you have older students, something that's new is a personal finance requirement. That is a class that needs to be taken in grades 10 through 12. So just kind of something to think about. We don't talk about that a lot with our 8th graders because it's not a class they'll take next year. But again, just really general overview. And then the last thing for me before I hand it off is just to be aware that we run a hybrid schedule at the high school. We will cover this in detail the first few days of the school year with the students when they come in. 3 days a week we run a 7-period school day. So remember, Jen said students can take up to 7 classes in a day. So Mondays, you don't need to remember all this, but Monday, Tuesday, Friday, students will have a 7-period school day. And then 2 days a week we run a block schedule, which means odd day classes one day and even classes the next. So it allows teachers to have more time with students, maybe doing a lab, presentations, maybe it's a longer test, working on an essay. It just really allows the teacher and the student to dive in a little bit deeper with whatever they've got going on for class at that time. Again, the area leads will talk about that as well. So, am I handing it over to Mr. Murphy? Okay, if you all want to come in and find a seat quick while we do a transition, this would be a great time. Again, thank you for being here, and I'm going to turn it over to Matt.
This isn't me.
Oh my gosh.
So sorry, I'm back. Happy to, yes. We, in addition to our counseling department, we also wanted to point out that we have wonderful liaisons. We're lucky enough to have 2 of them in our building full-time, which is amazing. Hussein and Blanca are our Somali and Spanish liaisons, and they have offices in our building, and they are here, again, daily. And then we also have Francisca and Siley, who are available to work with families as well. So just wanted to point that out tonight just to expand our team. And now I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Murphy.
All right, so let's get to kick it off with math, everybody's favorite subject. I know. In fact, so I just want to say, if you're coming into the high school, or you're all coming into high school new, there can be a lot of anxiety around math and even at whatever class you might be coming into. And I just got to say that my department, I'm so proud to be the head of our department, where we have a great group of teachers to welcome students in and make it a soft landing as they're coming into the school. I can attest for that myself because my daughter is a 9th grader this year, and she went from math being one of her least favorite. I know, how can that happen when your dad's a math teacher? But math was one of her least favorite classes, and now she comes home every day excited and enthusiastic about what she's doing and how she's doing. So I just want to say we have an amazing group of teachers to welcome and get your kids adjusted and back into the high school routine. So as far as what classes your child needs to register for, it's pretty straightforward for the most part. You just follow this track. So if your child's currently in Algebra 1, I'll leave this up here for a second. So this is kind of like the big picture as far as all the different places your child might be and what they would take next. So if your child is currently in Algebra 1, pretty simple, they're going to register for Intermediate Algebra. This is the only one that I want to take a second to talk a little bit more about. So if your child is currently in Compacted Algebra, where they're on that advanced track, sometimes we want the best for our kids, and so they're in that track, or they're in that pathway, but then maybe it starts to get a little bit more rigorous for them when they're in this course. And it's really important that a child has a really strong algebra foundation as they're moving forward, because the next bunch of classes are going to be very algebra heavy. And if they're not, don't have this proper skills for that, it makes it really hard. And all of a sudden now we have the snowball effect. And now is the time to have an off-ramp. So if your child is doing excellent right now and compacted, they're able to keep with the rigor, and they're doing really well, then they would advance and they would take geometry in the high school. But I just want to talk to those where maybe your child is, kind of struggling, and this has been maybe a rough year in this compacted class. This would be a perfect opportunity as an off-ramp to make sure that now they can get the proper algebra that they need to move forward. Because I have had students in my own classroom where I've seen them struggle, and they've come from that compacted class, and when I look at their grade and I look at their transcripts, I can see that, maybe they should have taken the opportunity to off-ramp before moving forward. So I just want to say that, so for those maybe select few that might be struggling, this is a good time for that, to get that better algebra background that they might need. If they're currently in Intermediate Algebra, they would take geometry. If they're currently in geometry, they would register for Algebra 2. Now, when a child, or when your student hits Algebra 2 and completes Algebra 2, so if they're in Algebra 2 right now, technically to graduate, Algebra 2 is the last math class that you need to graduate from high school to get the math standards. Now, you still need to have 3 years of high school, a minimum of 3 years of high school math. So that means that if your student is currently in Algebra 2, there are some different options that they can take. So this next year is going to be our first year offering AP Pre-Calculus. The AP exam for Pre-Calc came out, I think, 2 years ago. So this is our first year offering it as a course. So if you're wondering what class should we take, if your child's currently in Algebra 2, should they take Pre-Calculus or AP Pre-Calc? There's really no difference as far as what they would take after that. So there's not an advantage to taking AP Pre-Calc versus regular Pre-Calc as far as what would come afterwards. They would still have the same opportunities. So if they take Pre-Calc next year and not the AP version, they would still have the option the following year to take Calculus or AP Calc AB or AP Calc BC. Same thing would be true if they took AP Pre-Calc. So it really comes down to what kind of rigor they want, if they want to choose to be in an AP class. The only thing that I'd recommend is, again, talk to your current teacher, the teacher that they currently have, see where their skills are at, would they be ready for that kind of rigor, and help work with them, or you can ask me if you think that would be the right, trying to figure out what's the right choice. But otherwise, so it's really, that really comes down to just Pre-Calc or regular Pre-Calc or AP Pre-Calc. AP Pre-Calc is just going to go faster through the material and take the AP exam in April or whenever that is. And then they're going to have a couple chapters after that to help them get ready for calculus or whatever choose after that. Pretty simple. If you have any questions, here's my contact information. Feel free to reach out, shoot me an email. I'd be happy to answer those. Or like I said, the other person to talk to would be your child's current math teacher. And now I have the pleasure of introducing Tess.
Hi, I'm Tess Bateman, area leader for the English department. And if you've had students who've gone through Edina High School in previous years, you should know that we revamped our English curriculum over the last couple of years, so a lot of what I'm going to be telling you tonight is new. So we have two options for ninth graders, and I'm going to talk first about what the two courses have in common. Both of the English courses work on meeting the Minnesota English Language Arts standards. I tend to think English is like the most important class, just because we hit these really foundational standards, and that's true in both courses. Our goal is to help all of our students grow to be great thinkers, readers, and writers. We have two different pathways to help students get there. English 9 Survey is the course that provides a bit more scaffolding and support. It moves at a standard pace. English 10 Roundtable moves at an accelerated pace, and students work with more independence. Oh, sure, all right. The courses do have a lot of overlap. Both courses have homework. Both courses are designed to prepare students for future advanced courses, AP courses, college and the schools courses. Both courses include discussion, and both have about the same amount of writing. And students who start in English 9 Survey could always switch to Roundtable in 10th grade, and vice versa. If you take Roundtable in 9, you can move to Survey in 10. We have the same kind of delineation in both of those courses. So the decision about which course to take is really about whether you're a student who would benefit from having more support, more standard pace. If that's the case, you want to take Survey. If you're a student who wants to move at a faster pace and can work more independently, then Roundtable is a great option for you. Of course, there's lots of other factors to consider. Your 8th grade teachers have information about these courses, and I'm sure they'd be happy to answer questions if you're not sure, what's the best option for me. So, all right, so I'm gonna turn it over now to Eric Anderson, who leads social studies.
All right, thank you. My name is Eric Anderson. I'm the social studies area leader. And I was just adding up my years of teaching ninth graders while I was standing over there. And I taught ninth grade for 3 years in a previous district. I taught ninth grade for 17 years at Valley View. Came over here, taught ninth grade for 5 years. And so whatever that adds up to, I'm very well attuned with the ninth grade mind, I think, which is a little bit odd maybe to most people, but spent a lot of time with ninth graders. Love ninth graders. It's a great year. And there's so much growth in the ninth grade year. It's just an unbelievable year of growth for our kids. And in social studies, we have some choices that, that reflect that, if I can go the right way here. There we go. In social studies, the big choice in ninth grade is it's a geography-focused choice. And you have a class called Cultural Geography, and we have a class called AP Human Geography. For many students, for most students, this is going to be the first and probably only AP option in ninth grade. There could be some math kids that find their way there on a very accelerated track, I suppose, or there could be some other options. But for most kids, the letters AP come into play in ninth grade. What I want to talk about is the fact that these are two different courses, and I'll just kind of break down that choice a little bit. In 10th grade, there's a world history option, AP World History and Standard World History. 11th grade, we go to US, AP US History, AP African American Studies, or Standard US History. And then another option that I'll talk about really briefly is economics, because if you can see the chart on the far right, economics is an option. 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, or 12th grade. They could literally take that next year. as well, okay? So next year is a geography focus. Both classes, whether you take AP Human Geography or the Cultural Geography, teach the Minnesota State Geography Standards. The AP class has a prescribed curriculum from the College Board, so it does go down some different avenues, but it is human geography. There's some standard mapping that we've all done in any geography class, but it's much more about how humans interact with their environment, both in the state, local, national, and world level. So a lot about cultural topics, a lot about just humans and how they interact with their environment. And it's also going to engage students in good standard social studies processes, inquiry-based learning, thinking, collaboration, respectful civic discourse. We have an election next fall. Our classes will take a little time and bring that in as well. You know, there's a lot going on, and so we want to, highlight social studies skills as well, okay? The big thing you'll want to talk about, keep going the wrong way, sorry. The big question then is, which one should I take? Should I take cultural geography, or should I challenge myself and take AP Human Geography? What I would just say about all AP classes is they go faster and they go deeper at the same time. And AP Human is no exception, okay? So it's a challenging course. AP Human will have a college level textbook. Good reading skills, not just good reading skills, but excellent reading skills really are required, okay? You can make up for some of that with a love of the subject, and that's always important, that's always great. But really what you need to really consider the AP option in 9th grade is really strong student skills and combined with strong reading skills. If you're determined to do it and work completion is not a problem, you've got all those good student skills, and you're a self-motivated learner, then the AP class might be for you, okay? But you gotta come into it ready and kind of be ready to go on day one. All right, the reason we do it in 9th grade, however, is that it's possible. We wouldn't offer the class in 9th grade if it was so hard that nobody could do it. AP Human Geography, if taught at the 11th or 12th grade level, would be a semester class, all right? And that's how it is across the country. Those districts like us that teach it at the 9th grade level, we spread it out over a year. Okay, so yes, you're going faster, and yes, you're going deeper, but you're going faster and deeper over the course of a year rather than the course of a semester. Okay, so it's a great advantage to have it, and it can be done. If you have those student skills and reading skills, it definitely can be done. You should expect more homework in the AP section. Obviously, they'll be reading every single night. My son took this class last year at Edina High School, and there was a lot, and he had to keep up, and he really had to push himself. And in the end, it was successful because he was able to stay on track. All right. What else can I say? And then at the end of the year, there's the opportunity for college credit. There is the AP test, and that gets you going down that road. The one thing I would say is that there is no pressure to take AP in 9th grade. There's no track in social studies. You can take AP, you can take the standard cultural geography class in 9th grade and hop into AP in 10th grade, or hop into AP in 11th grade, or hop into AP in 12th grade. Okay, there is no, if I don't get in at 9, I can't ever, that's not the thing. Okay, so there's no track, and so you shouldn't feel pressure that you have to take this. Take the class that's the best fit for you. The other thing I should mention just before I forget is econ. Econ is an option. Economics is required to graduate. 95% or more of students take econ as a 12th grader. But we do have a couple kids every year who see it and they decide to take it, all right? And you can. So if you're interested in economics and you want to go for it, if you want to take standard economics, it's a semester. If you want to take AP economics, it's an entire year class, all right? If you want to take that in 9th grade, you definitely should have strong math skills. Although the math isn't all that hard, to be honest, you still should have strong math skills. And again, reading is a big part of the course as well. Okay, so I'd really think about all of those same skills, and just understand you're also probably going to be a class with 95%, juniors and seniors. So it is a good thing for some kids, but you want to be aware of that. Okay. I think that's it for social studies. Hope you guys all have a great rest of your year. Steve Sanger, science.
That is kind of backwards of what you'd think. Wait, I'm totally going the wrong way, aren't I? Hold on. All right. Hi, I'm Steve Sanger. I'm not the area leader for science. That honor goes to Gavin McLean, who happened to break his leg over winter break. So he's literally at home kicking back with his feet in the air, but we can't really hold that against him, can we? So I want to talk to you a little bit about the science sequence here at the high school. So the science sequence is built around 4 core science courses: physical earth science, chemistry, biology, and physics. We start with physical earth, and then typically students go on to take chemistry, and then biology, and then physics. This will meet the graduation requirements for the state of Minnesota, which includes a year of physical earth science, a year of biology, and then a year of either chemistry or physics. So the course you take next year really is just dependent on what course you're in right now. So for students who are in Science 8 right now, it's a very easy decision. You would just go on to take physical earth science. And again, that is a graduation requirement for the state of Minnesota. So you just go on to take that. Note that there is an embedded honors option available. So there's nothing special you need to do or register for. You just show up for the class on day 1. The teacher's going to talk about what the requirements are to earn the honors credit. And as one teacher put it, it's possible for a student to earn honors without even realizing they earned honors, if you sort of meet a certain level of performance. If you are in physical earth science right now in 8th grade, then you would move on to take chemistry. And here there is a little bit of a choice. We offer 2 separate courses, either general chemistry or enriched chemistry. Both courses are open to all students. Both courses are going to prepare you for future work in science, both here at the high school and in college. But you want to consider enriched chemistry if you're highly interested in science, if you're self-motivated and self-disciplined. So like some of the other area leaders have said, it is a more rigorous pathway, and so you want to make sure that you're ready for that and have the academic skills in terms of homework completion and preparing for tests and things like that to do that. You need to be quite comfortable with math. So some strong algebra and problem-solving skills are required for this class. In fact, that's probably the biggest differentiator, is that the enriched chemistry has more math than the general chemistry does. And then consider taking enriched chemistry if you're interested in eventually taking either AP chemistry or AP Bio later. Note that you don't have to take enriched chemistry to ultimately take those AP courses, but it would be a more rigorous preparation for those courses. So the best person to talk to if you're uncertain which of these options is best for you would probably be your current science teacher, because they know you best and will probably be able to help advise you. So if you have questions, you can contact Gavin McLean. He's the poor man with a broken leg. So there's his contact information. And now I will hand it off to the illustrious Kimberly Castor of World Language.
Salve, ni hao, bonjour, hola, and these are the hellos of the languages that we offer at Edina High School, and your students may already be in one of them. ASL is our entry point at the 9th grade, and so if your student is looking to shift over, that would be the new opportunity that is available. Some things about language. So your student hopefully already picked a language in 6th grade and is continuing from year to year. If that's the case, you are in, I think, what's called 1B, and what's most important is that you would continue to level 2. French 2, Spanish 2, Latin 2, Chinese 2. And I would like to go over to the considerations on the far side. You've heard some themes about talking to previous teachers. This is very much the case in a language, and it says in our course descriptions, our most successful students have a 75% or higher through the 8th grade year. What we're doing is building the foundation for language, and I will tell you that we in the World Language Department are really working with pens and papers and memorization. And so if you think that it's recognition based, but it's not really solidified, and maybe that grade shows with retakes or lower grades than 75%, that's worth a conversation with the current teacher that your student has. And if we go on, so that's pretty much everybody. If you want to start fresh, as we said, that would be level 1 ASL. And then we know we have our French immersion students. So you are shifting out of 7th grade French, 8th grade French to what's level 4. We picked level 4 25 years ago so that when colleges see that on the 9th grade transcript, it looks like they've had 4 years of a language, much like the equivalent for everybody else, as they could have an opportunity to take language. So please be looking for EF4. There are probably 4 level 4 classes on the French roster. We want EF4 for that class. Back to the considerations, we want to just say, we know that we have kids who have outside opportunities, who might have done Spanish immersion, for example, who might have lived in country elsewhere and want to look at jumping a level. And I would say, let's see, if anything, anytime you have a question about this, we work so hard all spring to make sure your student is going to arrive in our program happy, comfortable, able to speak, feeling good about all of those things, that if you have a question, or maybe your student was in Chinese weekend school, email me, I can get you to the right person, but we take a lot of pride in making sure that you have the answers that you need and you have the level that you're ready for before school starts. So I appreciate you listening, and we're excited to have your kids get the bilingual seal. I want to present Melanie Pusateri of the Wellness Department.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Melanie Pusateri, and I'm the area leader in charge of the Wellness Department. Thank you for being here. You're spending a night doing some important work for your kids, so we really appreciate you being here. In the Wellness Department, we have 3 credits for graduation that need to be taken anytime between your 9th and 12th grade year. Our standards in health, we have health, you can take it in 9th grade, 10th, 11th, or 12th. Personal wellness, that's the first class with the majority of our state standards in it. You can take personal wellness anytime that you want in that time. And after you take personal wellness, we have plenty of other wellness classes offered at Edina High School. As you can hear from my colleagues, we have some very rigorous classes. Kids are working really hard. And in the wellness department, we really want to look at the whole kid, and we want to be able to have great discussions in our health classes. We want in our personal wellness class to go over subjects with your mental health, your sleep. We want to make sure that kids are active during the school day, so we would love to have your kids moving throughout the school day. After they take their personal wellness class, we have a myriad of other classes that we would love to have your kids take. So right now, you really should be thinking about that health class and that personal wellness class, and if it works out in the schedules. Again, the majority of kids take those in 9th or 10th grade. We have 3 different pathways for you to take those classes. The traditional pathway at school, taking in your school day. Again, we think health and personal wellness movement during the school day helps all the kids to become better learners. We have a summer option for the health and personal wellness. And if the summer option is interesting to you, make sure to look at the catalog, because there are some face-to-face dates that are required. And we really don't want you doing lots of traveling in the summer, because we have assignments that are due every week. We also have an online option for kids that might be that solid learner who maybe is in a sport after school and does a lot of activity and doesn't mind doing the benchmark work on their own. So those are the 3 pathways for personal wellness and for health. And again, if you looked at some of our other offerings, we've got a myriad of other classes that we think our kids can move and learn very well in. Again, Melanie Pusateri. If you have questions about the wellness department or health, please let me know. Thank you very much. And Geneva Fitzsimmons, you are up.
I'm going to try and work this the right way. So I'm one of the, I'm the fine arts area lead, welcome. And electives, we have a lot of electives at the high school for your kids to choose from. Fine arts, business, STEM, facts, and personal finance. And I'm going to talk about fine arts. There are a lot of ways at Edina High School for your kids to be expressive and to be creative. And you do need 2 fine arts credits to graduate from Edina High School. And you can take those 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and more. So visual arts, we have amazing spaces here at Edina High School for visual arts and a lot of offerings. Each one is a semester. You would need 2 semesters to fulfill your fine arts requirement. And when you get to the advanced courses, you can take them more than once. Please, as 9th graders, sign up for whatever class you're asking for, 1, because you can't just jump in 2. You can't. So if you want to take darkroom photo, you need to take 1 in the fall to take 2 in the spring. So just be aware of that. But lots of options for visual arts, and there are performing arts groups at Edina High School. All of the 9th grade band, choir, orchestra groups, 9th graders are just in 9th grade classes. There's no skipping 9th grade orchestra or 9th grade choir. So the 9th graders are all put together and they are non-audition, there's no audition. We work really closely with the middle school staff to know what instrument you play or what voicing you are. And we place the kids in classes accordingly. Register for 2 full semesters, as we said. Also, just so you know, there's no marching in 9th grade. The 9th graders are not part of the marching band. Not? There we go. Choir. For choir, you're either signing up for 9 SSA choir for soprano and alto voice, or 9 TTB for tenor and bass. The choirs are still separated like they are in middle school, and no audition as well. Orchestra, 9th grade, you would sign up for repertory orchestra. Past 9th grade, band, choir, orchestra all have different pathways for you to, choose your own adventure if you want a more rigorous opportunity or you just want to come and play for fun. But those options are available for you. Theater at the high school, there is a curricular course called Theater for All, and that's open to 9th through 12th graders. And extracurricular, there is a fall, a 1-act, and a spring play. If you're interested in the fall musical, usually auditions for that are right away at the beginning of the school year, so keep an eye out for that. Theater for All is a class that you can take multiple years. You could take it 4 years if you want to. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks. And I'm going to pass it off to Jody Ramirez.
Hi everyone, I'm Jody Ramirez. I am the area lead for the Career and Technical Education Department, also known as the CTE Department. In the CTE Department, we have many course electives that your 9th grader could take. I'm going to start with the business course electives. There are 5 different opportunities for your 9th grader. The popular one for 9th graders is the Marketing with DECA, because that gives them the opportunity to participate in DECA conferences. And then all the way up to like Investing 101, which is an online popular option as well. All right. In the CTE department, we also have the Family and Consumer Sciences courses. There are 8 different elective courses in that department, or in that area. There are all online opportunities, or not all, but many are online opportunities, and they're all semester-long courses. You can see the asterisk indicates the online only, which there are 2 of those. The one that's the education experience, they would be helping out with like a kids club several times a week, but they would need their own transportation. And for the foods classes, the Intro to Foods is the prerequisite for the other 2 foods classes. And as I said, those are semester-long courses. The Interior Design course gives them the opportunity to earn one of their fine arts credits for high school graduation. We also have many engineering elective courses. I teach the engineering courses. We have big changes for next year. We have changed many of the engineering courses to semester courses. And this is a suggested pathway for engineering, saying that the Intro to Engineering Design would be a suggested 9th grade semester course. It's a product design course where they would learn how to use a 3D modeling program to design products. We also have a Principles of Engineering course, which says 10th grade. It's a semester course. It's open to 9th graders, as are most of them. That one, they would learn many different engineering fields and work with many hands-on projects. We offer Civil Engineering and Architecture. CEA is the acronym for that one. That is the full year course. And in that course, they will earn their 2 fine arts credits for graduation. And they learn residential and commercial design with that course. We have some 11th grade suggested and 12th grade suggested courses that they can look for possibly in the future. If some of your students have heard about like aerospace engineering, that has been changed to rocket and space systems and flight systems, 2 separate 1-semester courses. If you have any questions for all of those different elective courses, please email me and I'll get you the answer. And then one other slide that's not up there is the computer science courses. We offer 7 different computer science courses at the high school that are open to 9th graders as well. And you can always email me if you have questions. Up next is Natalie Goldberg.
All right, I'm back. One thing that's been mentioned a couple of times is online classes. So just wanted to take note of that. Some of our courses are offered online through Edina High School. They are noted in the course catalog. But the one thing we want to point out about those is they are dependent on enrollment. So if we don't have enough students that sign up for a particular online course, then the students will be placed in the in-person version of the class. So just be aware of that. If you sign up for an online class, again, it's designated when students go to enter a class in Infinite Campus. They'll see interior design or interior design, meaning it's in person. So just be aware if you do sign up for an online class to know if it doesn't run, that you'll be placed in person for that. So, and then the other note is students can't take more than 3 online classes in a semester. We primarily see our 9th grade students taking in-person classes. We really just don't have very many online options for our 9th graders. So there aren't too many decisions to make in that regard for our 9th graders. We like to have them in the building with us. So thank you for being here. I'm going to hand it over to Jen.
Thank you again for joining us. We have not hosted this event in person for many years, so to see that we were almost standing room only is very, very exciting. I hope that you leave here tonight with a lot of food for thought for your child's journey to their graduation in the year of 2030. Thank you so much for joining us.